All right, we are live. Great. Well, welcome everyone who is here, whoever is able to get on. We are doing a transportation talk this afternoon. We're here with a couple of special guests. My name is Shane Rhodes. I'm the Transportation Options Coordinator for the City of Eugene, and we are just doing a test of this, and it looks like we have 0 viewers right now, so that's good. I can see that, and I'll go ahead and bring Rob on as our first guest here. Rob Interfeld. Oh, we have 1 viewer now. Welcome. Anyone who's watching, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment stream there. And all right, and then we have let me see here. We got a special guest coming on here in just a minute, but I'll wait for a couple more people to get on. Oh, looks like we've got 3 people on now. Great. So today we're just going to be, oh, perfect. It's just Andy. Don't get too excited. So Andy, you also have a guest or an invite in your email to become a guest. So if you want to look for that, you can join us as a guest. I'm going to bring on our first special guest here, or guests, who are going to open us up with some entertainment. So let's bring Sarah and Steve on. Hey, Sarah and Steve, welcome.
Thanks. Thanks for having us. This is our second time as the musical guest for the test of a live function show.
Yeah.
Excellent. Great. Well, yeah. Thanks again for coming on, and maybe I'll have you, as folks are joining us, have you start us off with a song.
All right.
Okay. I'm gonna hand the show over to you.
All right, so normally we play with a band, not just the low end and the high end. So we don't have a whole lot of songs, despite the month we've spent hanging out just at home ourselves. We don't have a whole lot of songs worked out for just the 2 of us that are performance worthy. But this one we've been working on. This is Gillian Welch's Hard Times. And we saw Chris Thiele play it, and we were inspired by how perfectly it fits this time. Just can't tell the man, he's loud and sing. He loves his mule and his mule loves him. When the day's gone long, as it does now, I hear him sing to his mule, he's a cow. Sing, come home, sweet home girl. I bet the whole damn world we're gonna make it get to the end of the road. Sing hard times, ain't gonna move my mind. Hard times, ain't gonna move my mind. Very hard times, ain't gonna move my mind. No more. This big world is carrying me. A big machine is taking a seat. For someone to, for someone one. We'll get to heaven in our own sweet time. So come on, Nashville boys, turn up your old time noise. Can't tell the dust comes up through the cracks in the floor. Singing hard times, ain't gonna move my mind. Hard times, ain't gonna move my mind. Brother, hard times, ain't gonna move my mind. No more. If I can't turn man, he don't cloud no more. See him walking down the secret store. Guess he lost that back, he forgot that song. Woke up one morning and his mule was gone. So come, red times came.
All right. Thank you, Sarah, Steve. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Great.
Do we enjoy an opportunity to perform still?
Even if it is for 6 people.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of shows that are like that, so that's right at home, you know. These people are probably listening as opposed to what, you know, normal shows can often be like. Good.
All right, so we have a few people on, and I want to say, let's see here, just looking through our comments, and Reed sends out a good reminder to everyone to raise your hand. You really like that. All right, good. So it seems like comments are working, the stream's working. Now let's get Rob back in here. Hey, Rob. All right, good. Well, so thanks again, Sarah, for doing a musical intro there. That was great.
Our pleasure.
So we've got a few folks on, and we're just going to test out some things. I thought maybe we could do a little Q&A, and since we have some folks on, let's have maybe a question for Sarah about safe routes to school. Let's see if someone can throw out a question, and we'll let Sarah answer a safe routes to school question. I'll start out with you. You mentioned that you have a big accomplishment because of this pandemic. What was that?
We have been very successful in achieving totally empty parking lots. No one is driving their kid to school right now. So
Right.
total 100% success.
Yeah.
400%.
Safe routes to school. It's working well.
It's working really well.
Oh, got another guest here.
Hi, Andy.
Andy, welcome.
Hi.
All right. Great. Andy joining us from the yard.
Yep, live from the office. Some of us are still working.
Great. All right. Let's see here. Oh, Kurt's here with us too. Kurt's a former planner with the Public Works Engineering, and he's joined us today. Says thanks for the music, Sarah.
The lead creator of the Eugene 2035 Transportation System Plan, Kurt
Wow.
Geider.
Awesome. I think that's what ended his career, right?
Yeah.
Eat him down. Great. Okay. So no one's thrown in any questions about safe routes to school. I will say I did see Sarah. I got very excited the other day. I was biking my kids over to the park, and I saw that there was some digging going on right near the village school on Willamette Street. And I was like, oh, the crossing's going in.
Yay.
And Reed and Rob were like, no, that project isn't bid yet. And so I went back, and sure enough, it's Northwest Natural. They're digging it up before we dig it up, before the contract gets going. So Northwest Natural is doing the pre-work, but it's in process. So it's going out to bid, and that's an exciting thing. I'm really excited to see that project go in, as well as a bunch of those other safe routes projects.
That is exciting.
Do you know any kids who are going to be using that crossing, Shane?
Yes, I know a few kids who are going to be using that crossing. Yeah, several. Oh, good. Here we got a question from Chris.
What last thing? Is this a safe routes only question?
Yeah, I think you had that massive effect on nobody's driving their kids to school.
Yeah,
What kind of lasting effect do you think there might be?
Right now the safe routes to school.
I can't hear Sarah.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Oh, well, it might be you, Rob.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's weird.
We're good on audio.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
that's so weird.
right now the safe routes to school team is working on picking up the educational and encouragement pieces that would be happening in the spring normally, like putting our walking and biking education safety education programs online for remote learning, and figuring out what to do about walk and roll to school day in May and planning to give away some scooters with prize money that normally would be spent on smaller stuff that we don't necessarily want to give away right now. We have all that contact. But I do intend that we spend time once there's, I guess, the earliest we'll be going back to school is September. And so I do intend that we spend some time figuring out how can we translate kids out biking and walking more. It seems like, just anecdotally, it seems like there's more kids out on the streets right now. Mm-hmm. And families, how can we translate into some people realizing that it's actually not just a way to have joy, but also a way to get places. And I hope that that's something that, Shane, we should collaborate on that and figure out how we can do that beyond just take that to school. But I do think it's an opportunity.
Yeah, I think it definitely is. I think the anecdotal piece that you've talked about, I think we've also witnessed, a lot more kids out walking and biking in the neighborhood, tons of kids out walking around with their parents and, getting that exposure to their neighborhood that they probably haven't had before. So it will be interesting to see how that translates. I'm working with some folks at the University of Oregon to do a COVID-19 specific transportation survey. It was we were pivoting from the smart trip survey that we were doing to something more about like, what's your transportation picture look like now? And what are your projections? What are you thinking about when you come out of this?
Mm-hmm. It's interesting on that theme. I read a poll today that in the UK, only like 9% of the population wants the situation to go back to the way it was prior to the viral outbreak.
Wow.
It turns out that people really value the quiet, the lack of traffic, the clean air, the sense of community, and would like that to continue in some capacity after the outbreak subsides.
Yeah, I can imagine. There are certain things that people wanted, and this might be the time that they hope for that transition.
And
no, go ahead.
If you look at behavior change theory, there's this piece of it that disruption is an opportunity for change when we break out of our old habits. So there's going to be a lot of people who are ready to go back in with a different pattern and form different habits. And it's just a matter of making it easy and functional for them. I think that's the piece that could be tricky.
Right. Yeah. And it is interesting too in that it's sort of, I feel like some of our, there's a lot of talk about how transportation affects, people's lives, whether that's in a personal level or mental health or other things. And it's interesting to actually see a real world experiment that has proven that to be true.
Right. Yeah. This is a major real world experiment in a lot of ways, but certainly the transportation piece is something we're going to see.
Yeah, unprecedented. There was IT had a thing. They sent out there's a traffic study that was done during World War II, and it was all about how traffic patterns changed during the war. And I mean, it was pretty high level, but the effects that we're seeing now are more dramatic than those that were seen during the war push.
Really?
Yeah. So it's interesting, pretty long time frame in between the two events, but
Well, wasn't it after World War II that we started to build more of the interstate system?
That's when it came online, was post.
Yeah.
It started in the 50s.
Right. And so that was sort of the response to getting back, getting the economy back rolling, right? And so, what is our big response this time, right? What are the big things that we can do to that will make the other side happen? That really makes the active transportation piece flourish.
It's clearly building up the cruise industry.
Oh, yeah, building up the cruise. Clearly.
Yeah, no brainer.
The telecommuting piece could be really big, and it's functional for many people right now, especially probably if you don't have kids. You have somewhere to work, but I think that actually, in terms of just the safe routes to school lens, I think that a lot of people don't end up. Their children don't walk or bike to school because people are afraid to have their kids walk or bike on their own, which maybe some people will be less so because they have gone over the route, and we're going to encourage people to go over the routes during this time. But maybe also if people are telecommuting, then it's not this like get yourself to work, drop your kid off on the way. Maybe it can be you're telecommuting, so you have time to walk your kid to school or bike your kid to school.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the interesting piece, is that if we have fewer people who are driving to work, yeah, what is that? How does that affect what they do with their kids? And my other question is, free range kids and sort of this let grow aspect of childhood independence has always been a part of that. My connection with Safe Routes to School of like, even if we build the skills, the parents have to be able to let their kids go on their own or in groups. And I wonder how much of that is happening now. Like, I know that, my kids were already, free range, and I was already sending them out walking and, just out on their own. But I'm doing that a lot more now. It's like, get out of the house, and so I'm wondering, and it seems like I'm seeing more kids doing that, but I'm curious, how that will affect that transportation choice.
I can tell you in my neighborhood, I'm not seeing any kids outside, and usually there's a lot of kids from the opposite of that. I think kids are staying at home. There's usually quite a few free range kids in my neighborhood, so yeah.
I personally have been surprised by the number of teenagers that I've seen out and about. Like now that they're not able to be in a car or they have nowhere to go, apparently they're actually like hanging out on bikes and, I assume still causing trouble, but just in a much more environmentally friendly way.
I've seen some teenagers hanging out in groups, which has been not awesome. I'm guessing they're not all siblings.
Right.
Probably not.
Extended families. I'm excited about telecommuting. I think that it just has a lot of potential, and it seems like so many more people are getting used to it. And like Karen said, if everyone let's just say 1 out of every 4 people telecommuted 1 day a week, that would be a huge shift in less driving. So hopefully we can carry some momentum with doing that more. It doesn't have to be everybody. And I don't know. I don't think it's definitely an equity issue right now that some people can't telecommute for their jobs. But I think once we get back to normal, it's not as much an equity issue as just that it's just everyone doing their part to drive less. And so if for some people that means telecommuting, and others that means taking the bus or riding an electric bike or whatever it may be, and so how do we just put that out there as like we're all doing our part to stave off this other global crisis that we're facing?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm reading a book right now called Falter by Bill McKibben, and I'm on the kind of setting the table part of just how scary things are. And it's like, I knew it was bad, but it's like, it's worse than I thought it was. Sadly, I hope he's not right about everything.
Yeah, the beginnings of those books are always the scary part, right? Because then they throw in, but.
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a but in this book, but I'm hoping there will be.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, again, the hope could be, look how we've mobilized to deal with this. Maybe we could actually mobilize and deal with climate change.
Right, exactly. That is seriously the hope. I totally agree.
Although the economy is, going the direction it's going for probably a long time is not going to help people feel motivated to address another big crisis.
All right. Chris is our best questioner here so far. He asked us, when we were in grade school, how did you get to school and how was the experience? Any interesting school travel anecdotes?
I'll go because I have to leave quickly, but I grew up in Minnesota, and we would walk to school even in the winter. There was one winter where it got down to 60 below freezing, and I broke a chunk of hair off because I went out with wet hair, and when I got to school, a little bit snapped off because it was frozen.
Where did you say you grew up, Andy?
Minnesota.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I don't have the accent anymore, so it can be hard to pick that state out.
I'll have to, in my head, I'll just have to add the accent back when I hear you talk.
That's a good call. All right, well, I got to run. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Andy. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful weekend.
All right. You too.
Oh, we lost Rob. Well, I biked to school, and bless you, for a for a lot of high school and I think middle school, I got to bike on a tandem bike, which was really fun with a friend.
Wow.
Yeah, I would bike to her house and then get on the tandem and we would bike to school. You go really fast down hills, which was fun.
Any crashes?
We didn't crash. I was in the back, so I had to just trust her. But
Yeah, it was a good trust building.
I had a pretty boring school commute. Most of my school career, I was on the school bus. I was a school bus kid, and I only really started biking when I got to college, and then it just became my normal way of getting around. So.
All right. So one of the other things sorry that Andy had to go. One of the other things I wanted to touch on was slow streets, and just kind of throw out because I know Sarah, I had mentioned something to you before, but I just want to let you know that we are looking at that potential of doing something. Have you seen what they did in Oakland?
Awesome.
Have you seen what they did in Oakland, that project? I think that looked like a really interesting one. Have you heard of any other cities and what they're doing? And
Denver is also doing some. Where else did I just read about? I just read about this morning or yesterday, but Denver and Oakland were the ones that stuck out.
And what's the buzz on the safe routes side of like different? What are people doing in this pandemic time of?
In terms of slow street?
Alternative, yeah, or just even in other programming kind of projects that you thought have been pretty interesting in.
You know, people are trying to figure out ways to, mainly to just encourage kids to be outside. So you've probably seen a lot of like the treasure hunts where kids can look for things in people's windows and like bingo cards that some places are doing actual prizes. That seems complicated. So we're not leaning towards that other than our scooters. But most of what people seem to be focusing on is education and encouragement at the moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I'm excited about the slow streets opportunity and possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it definitely has some great potential to give us some of that space, and also, as we talked about, what kind of changes people want to see, and whether people are getting out or not. I think that if we provide that space for people, it's more likely that they'll get out and experience it and get their bikes tuned up and get out walking and feel what a walk to the store feels like, and if they do that, then they're more likely to have that sort of muscle memory and that understanding of what that means, and be more likely to do it when it's when things are back to normal or more normal.
And maybe not be upset about road space going to people for walking and biking,
Right. Yeah. Karen says that New York City did have a pitiful 1.5 miles, which does seem like for New York City.
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid of. Like I specifically said we shouldn't do a small section like that, because then people are going to congregate. That's going to draw people in, and we really have to spread it out. And I think Oakland did an amazing job at just giving lots of miles.
We could get to 1.5 pretty easily.
Get to what?
1.5 miles.
1.5. Yeah, I think we could do 1.5.
Gosh, New York, come on.
Yeah.
So Sarah, your neighborhood doesn't have as much of a street grid. Do you think this is something that could work there, where we limit certain streets just to local traffic, or would it be more challenging in a neighborhood that's not as interconnected?
I don't know that there's very much of a need on the neighborhood streets. I've actually been enjoying walking and biking on places like Horn Lane and Park Avenue, where I normally feel really uncomfortable walking and biking, or I guess not biking on Park Avenue. But anyhow, I've been enjoying using those streets because they're quieter now. But I think the place that is really uncomfortable, I had to bike into work, or I had to get to work. I chose to bike, and I could either go straight down River Road or I could go on the river path. Usually I take the river path, but I didn't take it on the way there because of all the people out there. I don't like biking on River Road, and even now it still feels uncomfortable because people are going fast. So and then I biked back on the river path, and that was worse because it was packed. It was a sunny day. So I feel like in the River Road Santa Clara neighborhoods, or at least in the River Road neighborhood, it would probably be more important to provide the transportation connection.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the tricky part, is that I think the neighborhood streets and the neighborhood greenways like Oakland did is pretty easy. But I think it's going to be harder if we're looking at arterials or busier streets.
That would be really challenging. So was the river path more crowded than it would be on a nice day in the spring typically, would you say?
No, it's just that in a normal day on the spring, I don't mind people going near me.
Right.
I don't mind people's breath floating near me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably as busy as spring days.
Okay.
That was nice. Maybe, yeah, kind of depends on the time, but on the sunny days, yeah.
Funny. Chris asking the best questions here. I'm gonna show a little video because I want to see how this works. So this is one of my favorite City of Eugene creative videos, and then we'll come back and take any more questions from the audience, but just to help me practice this platform here. So real quick here, I'm gonna hide you both and keep you in the green room and then show a little video. So let's see here. Let's hide you two, and then we're gonna start a little video here. Oops, pull it up. Like that. There we go. Oh, you don't need me on there though. Let's try that. Wondering if everyone can still hear me, but I'm just gonna play this show. All right, and we're back. All right. How'd that work for you guys? And comments from the audience, that look okay? Oh, that video didn't have audio.
Mm-mm.
I didn't hear the sound either.
Oh, that's too bad. That's one of the best parts.
No.
Right, I know.
Okay.
Isn't it like video games?
Yeah.
Mario?
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Interesting. Okay. Let me maybe try another thing then, see if I can fix that issue. Great. That's why we do this. Testing. Okay, hold that one. I'm gonna bring in. Did you share audio? Look for the share audio checkbacks. All right. Try this. I think I got it.
And Shane, with this, I'm gonna say goodbye and thanks for having me.
All right, great. Let me get on here. Okay, great. Well, thank you, Sarah, for joining us, and we'll see you later. All right, Rob, I'm going to stay in the green room, and we'll see if this actually plays again. There we go. All right, try it again. Nope. There we go. All right, Rob, we're back on.
Okay.
Okay, so that worked better? Work.
Look-
Looks like from the audience, we got audio. Problem solved.
Chris needs more root beer. Sorry, Chris, I can't help you with that. You can have some of my Abasella Vintners blend number 19 if you come over here, though. I'll leave it by my driveway. Jane, are you talking? Are you
All right. Nope. Yeah, we're live. Sorry. Okay. So we're back. So I think that's all working well, and we've got good comments. Any other questions? I think actually did see another funny question from Chris come in. Have you ever been to a conference and sat in the back and made fun of the plenary panelists?
Have you done Chris? Chris has a very snazzy little like profile photo I noticed where he's got like his motorcycle reflective thing on with the collar up and the pre-COVID-19 haircut. There we go. He's up. Yeah, look at that. Looking snazzy.
He is.
My haircut is always COVID-19 ready, you know. Some calls with I think Logan, Chris, a guy named Zeph from the city of Portland who normally have more, you know, hairdos, and they're all like buzzed down.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking either of going for the buzz or just going full on shaggy.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture you with the buzz. I don't know. I'm Shane.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think the shag's a better look for me.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, great. I think that gave me a good little rundown. I think we peaked at 9 or 10 viewers. We got some good comments, and I got some good tests of this. So that's pretty much what I wanted. Do you have anything else?
How was the audio when Sarah and Steve were playing?
Who was on?
Because I can say for me it was really poor quality. Oh
yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at the chat on my computer.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this on to Reed and Kurt and Chris. Send some invites if anyone wants to join us for the last little bit. Oops. Okay. Want to check your email? Reed said, "Oh yeah, senior TV interview." Oh, that was. I had this queued up. Let's just show this really quick because it's a good little. I had it queued up, and I think it's a good little shot. Let's see here. Make sure I have the right one. Yep. Here we go. We're gonna watch another one. Help me practice this audio piece too.
Lily says audio for Sarah and Steve wasn't bad, but it was a little choppy. Okay.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I think the more people can be on, I put into Ethernet cable, and the more we can have guests on Ethernet is probably better.
Oh, interesting.
Streets. Here we go. We're going to. Guess play didn't work.
Well, I think that biking is really sort of the perfect machine. What I like about living when I travel, I see people that I know all of the time, and then they wait.
That audio work for you?
And it really feels like a community. No. For the city of Eugene, I work on walking projects, crosswalks, and sidewalks.
Okay, sorry, we're going to try that again. Might have hit the same wrong button. Let's go back here and fix that again.
Jane, I'm picturing you that you have like a big mixer under there because I just
right up here. Yeah. Let's see. It is a pretty funny setup that I have. Let's see, my standing desk.
Mm-hmm.
It's a remix. This should be it. One more time. Maybe.
Oh no,
I
still
think
no
that
sound.
biking is really sort of the perfect machine.
Audio is working
What
for
I
them.
like about living in Eugene
Oh,
is
good.
when I travel, I see people that I know all of the time, and then they wave at me and I wave at them, and it really feels like a community. For the city of Eugene, I work on walking projects, crosswalks and sidewalks, and also biking projects, things like bike lanes or protected bike lanes. So sometimes when we're drawing up a project, all we have is the line work that shows where the streets are, where the sidewalks are, where the curbs are at. And we don't know what's happening at that intersection, so we don't really know the context. What Remix allows us to do is to pull in data like crash data, so that when we're looking at a particular segment and we are focusing on the intersection, we know how many crashes happen there. We know how much right of way is there. So if we're looking at different solutions like roundabouts, all of that data is in one spot, and we're able to put all of that together at the same time. So a couple things that are unique about the Civic Stadium project is that there's sort of an old street grid network there with some one-way streets. And so there are 2 streets that feed directly into the Civic site where we know we're going to have to two-way some one-way streets. As we started to zoom out in the Remix software, we started to see that other streets that tied into the streets that we were focused on also needed some updating. And what Remix allows us to do is draw those up really quickly. In real time, we could actually sit down with some stakeholders and say, well, what if we did it this way? Or what if we moved the bike lane to the other side of the street? Or what if this intersection had a crosswalk on all corners? Or what if we put a stop sign there and so all traffic stopped and allowed you to get across the street easier? And really be able to gauge our stakeholders' opinions about these designs before we start the intricate engineering and CAD work, which takes a lot of time.
Hi, my name is Larissa Varela. I'm an associate transportation planner with the City of Eugene. My role at the City of Eugene is to redesign our major arterial streets. That means making the streets more complete. I'm really excited about using Remix for a project that I'm going to start working on. It's Franklin Boulevard, which is a major arterial in Eugene. And we're also looking at Garden Avenue, which is a local street on the same project. So we'll be able to quickly look at different scenarios in what we could potentially build on those corridors using Remix, which will be a lot faster than what we've done in the past.
For me, Remix is a way to bring in a lot of different information onto a single screen, be able to work collaboratively with a variety of different folks, and end up with a product that is portable, that I can take to the engineers, that I can take to the neighborhood. Now with every new project, we're starting with Remix, and I think that's going to become part of the way that we do business in the city of Eugene.
Great. All right.
Cycling.
Well, thank you, Reed. That was great. And let's get Rob back in here. All right. Perfect. So we're back. Yep.
I said a couple of times I had to actually leave the broadcast and come back in again in order for the sound to work for me. I don't know if it's a quirk of my iPad or what. So that's happened a couple times.
Interesting. What's also interesting is I didn't let you back in. It just knew that you were there, whereas the first time I had to.
Yep.
So that's good to know. Let's see. Chris was using Safari and couldn't get in, so he tried to join us as a guest, but because he was on Safari, because I think Chrome might work better. Kurt's leaving us. Thanks for joining, Kurt. It's good to have you around. Bye, Kurt. Oddly inspirational. It isn't.
Did you see Chris asked if we're going to have an after party in Teams?
Hey, that's a good idea. Let's do a quick little wrap up in Teams after this. That would be helpful for me. I'll take this off and see if anyone else is able to join. And any last questions? I did see this comment I want to highlight from Ophelia. I agree. I think so far it's working well. It seems like something fun we could do with doing some Q&As. And yeah, that was a good video. Cass says, nice video. Cass is joining us. Thanks, Cass. Oh. All right. Great. Well, I think that's probably good for now. Got a couple videos in, got some comments up, different banners. Can rebrand. Perfect. Rob, you have any final comments before we end this transportation talk? Here, let me get our transportation talk banner up. There we go.
No, but let's bring Reed and Chris on board next time. They seem like they're snarkier than me. So
yeah, I agree. Perfect. Okay, sounds good. Well, thanks for joining in, Rob. Thanks for everyone for joining us on the live stream, and we'll catch you on the other side. Oh wait, I've got one more banner I wanted to run.
Oh, cool. Enjoy that sunshine. That's great.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Cool.
See you.
Bye, everyone. See you in Teams.